Page 40, the Campbells Are Comin. 6/8 time, 3 sharps. We're in the key of A major. There's 3 sharps. So do the scale on A major. At least 1 octave up and down, preferably 2. And while you're there, go ahead and do the scale on F sharp minor. It also has 3 sharps. As well do it. At the top of the page, they talk a little bit about interpreting grace notes. I've touched on it a little bit, but they're talking about a technique called a crushed grace note. Now, I'll come back and I'll talk about that more when I talk about the ornaments and articulation in that in the piece. So let's talk about this piece. We have a 1-beat pickup in 6/8 time, and 8th note gets a count. So we need a measure somewhere else with 5 counts in it, because we have the 6th one here. And if you look at the last measure, you will see that's got 5 counts in it, so we're good to go. Even if it didn't have 5 counts, it doesn't affect how we play it. I just like to make sure the piece is structurally correct. So we're coming here. If you watch the fingering, you're kind of in this position. Don't forget the F sharp and the C sharp and the G sharp when we get to it. So it's 6, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's a B, not an A. 1, 2, 3. Oh, that's fine. Let's go on to the last measure. You're here because you come up here. Thumb. And then here, watch this fingering. I want to connect all these notes together. So I'm going to go here, thumb, little finger. Really, it's a bunch of broken chords is all it is. So let's do that again. The last measure, the second line. You're here, thumb, here, and then I say 3, 2, 5. And then you can do a 3 here. So you're ready to go on? 1, 2, 3. See, they split the measure. This is the 3rd line down, 2nd measure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They split the measure. Doesn't matter. You just keep going. It just 1, 2, 3, 1 and 2. The 16th note gets a half a count. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 4, 5, and 6. They put the counting in between. I just feel it. 4, 5, 6. It comes in between. Okay. So go on. Crossover. Again, we'll do that again. 4, 5, 6. Last line. 1, 2, 3. Don't forget the G sharp. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 1 and 2 and... I just feel it. 1, 2. 1, 2. Just watch the fingering there at the bottom. The fingering in the book is fine. I'm surprised. Left hand. Now leave out this little grace note. Just play the A and the E first. And the dotted half note gets 6 counts because there's 6 eighth notes in a dotted half note. Remember, there's 3 quarter notes. Well, that means 6 eighth notes. All right, whatever. Then at the 3rd line down, last measure, it's the same. It's a broken chord here. For the most part. And next line down, the next to the last line, last measure, you do have here. You can figure that this way if you need to. Otherwise, the fingering in the book is fine. Put the hands together. A lot going on there. Let's go down to the 3rd line, last measure, you're down here. See the last measure? Comes in between. little thing I'll mention is the last measure at the bottom. The right hand is 1, 2, 3, 4, rest. You have a rest on beat 5. The left hand doesn't. Keep it down. The idea is you're going to go back up to the top and you're going to move the right hand up so you're ready to go here. And when you go up to the top, the left hand doesn't play. So you're holding that down, and then as you play the A at the top, you lift the left hand here. So the last measure, like so. So once you have a handle on the notes and the rhythms and that stuff, and you get rid of the hesitations and add in the articulation and these grace notes. For the articulation, it's just phrasing in the right hand. It's like taking a breath. Lift. Now look out here because they're phrasing. Each phrase gets a pickup beat. Well, that's normal. A lot of times when you're phrasing things, you'll be consistent. So if you start with a pickup beat, most all the rest of them will probably have a pickup beat. We had a pickup beat at the beginning. And then later for the second weight, we had another one. Well, in the second line, going into the second measure, it's pickup. And then up another pickup. And then another pickup. Just lift up between. You don't have a lot of time, so it's just a little lift. So the second line, I'll go slow here. Lift up. Lift up. Lift up. And then connect all that together. Lift. But it goes fairly quick, so you don't have a lot of time to lift up. So you're pretty much playing that last note of a phrase staccato. It's a in fact, you could almost just slur it all together. Whatever. So put in the phrasing. The left hand just connect it as best you can. And on these grace notes, we're going to crush the grace note. And that means you're going to play it at the same time as it, and then lift it up immediately. One thing I will mention about crushed grace notes, only consider it, and you're not going to do it all the time, but you can consider it when the grace note is an interval of a second. It could be a major or minor second, doesn't matter. It could be next to it like this is, or it could be here. That's still an interval of a second. But if it's further away than that, if more than a second, don't crush it. Play them. Don't go. That's too far. So a second. And that's all we're going to do. It helps to make it sound like a bagpipe. Otherwise, connect the left hand. Dynamic, well, let's do the melody in the right hand. It's loud to start with. So when you get to the third line after the thin and thick bar line, now you go down to moderately soft. The left hand has to be way out of the way here. And you're staying about in that area. You get a little louder and softer as you feel it. In the last line, you're going to gradually crescendo up to loud again for the third measure. So moderately soft in the last line. Moderately loud. Loud. Like you were at the beginning. So plan out that crescendo so you gradually get louder. You don't want to be loud until the third measure of the last line. The left hand just stays in the background. Speed, vivace is fast. Vivace is very fast. They have a metronome marking of a dotted quarter note. It's like you're going to feel it in 2. Well, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to feel it in 2, just because the metronome marking is that. But you have to experiment. So go down to the third line. So how fast? It has to be comfortable. It has to be controlled. Your fast. Your vivace, not mine. I'll leave that up to you on vivace. Then on top of that, they've added pedal. Well, the pedal helps, I guess, in a way of adding overtones to the bagpipe. Otherwise, it's dry. The problem is you don't want to smear this. So what we're doing here is a technique called legato pedaling the chords. We're just going to connect the chords. And that's sort of what they have marked here, is I'm going to push the pedal down right before I lift it up in the left hand. I want to connect these left hand chords. Otherwise, I'm not pedaling at all. So they're showing push the pedal down on the 4th beat. No, I wouldn't push the pedal down until the 6th beat, at the very end. Right before you lift the left hand up, you push the pedal down so the sound continues for the left hand when you lift it up. All I want to do is connect those. And then for the other part, the bottom part, we don't pedal that at all, of course. So at the beginning, slowly. So all I'm doing is connecting these. And then on the 3rd line, 2nd measure, at the end, that I don't pedal that. Don't. You can pedal from the 1st measure to the 2nd measure, and that's it. Don't pedal any of this other stuff. We want to hear silent, like taking a breath, and then you're not going to pedal that. And that's the only pedaling I recommend here. I like to play this very, very slowly with you, and let's check the notes and the rhythms. I'm not going to do any dynamics. I will try and pedal it as I described it. I'll give us 5 counts because we come in on beat 6. 1, 2, 3, ready, go.